Hi, Aurelio Martinez with Inside Boxing's Throwdown. We're going to continue with our special guest, Javon Langford, as we start to talk about his boxing career, that he engaged in his boxing career and simultaneously played NFL football as a defensive end for the Cincinnati Bengals. We left off, Javon, at talking about getting into our boxing, okay, where you started and you actually went through the boxing training and some boxing training. We started actually getting into the thick of things, which were the sparring part of it. We talked about you going to Thornton, getting your feet wet in the ring, and now we took you to fight Louis Monaco. It was a beast, very experienced, very well, like you say, knocked out Buster Douglas, and now we go to spar. Well, you had your first sparring session with him, and he didn't hold back. He didn't hold no punches. I mean, he came in and said, okay, well, I'm going to show this man what boxing's all about.
You see, I had that football tag with me too, so a
yeah.
lot of people thought that, well, he can't fight.
Yes.
He's a big guy, gonna use muscle. So you see, people understand. You got to. When I left you and went to Rhode Island back east, I've been having the same thing. They throw me in with Jason Estrada, which was who Jason Estrada was.
Yep.
He was for a gold Olympic, but certain things happened. He didn't conduct himself right. But could have been a champion right now.
Yeah.
So they throw me to him. So I've learned I had to pay my dues jumping in just because I'm a big guy. But I always looked at myself as I have a title.
Yep.
But it's a title of embarrassment. People want to really embarrass you. You see what I'm saying? Show you that you don't be there. So, you don't belong here because you didn't go through the whole.
And they seen that, like Too Tall Jones and some of the other football players. The one that was a big back, he's from college and went in. So they just don't take football players seriously when they get into the boxing game because they realize that they're not going to make it. But one thing they didn't know Javon. They didn't know his goals, his mentality, understanding what he's in.
Well, I also understood both worlds. I know the average football player, like I said, I boxed before I played football. So I've had a foundation of understanding technique, things like that, but it's like golf, like we were saying the other day, when you lay the clubs down, that timing, that defined twitch muscles, they dull off, and you got to spend the time to get them again. Anybody can brute hit a drive. That's why you say everybody want to drive all the time. But when they get down to chipping and things like that, that's fine. Those small twitch muscles, which like in boxing, that turning the hook, uppercut, short shot shit. So that's the difference between me and football players, where football players don't understand that. See what I'm saying? They football is a volatile sport where everything is collision. When you come into boxing with that, see what I'm saying? You get tired, and a boxer knows that. So the bigger guy always has a disadvantage if he doesn't know how to use his strengths. You see what I mean? So that's the difference. When we say, and I see that gives them an advantage when they look at that. Yep. So it makes it harder for you to try to prove that that I can do what y'all are doing.
Okay. So now we got that. So you get an understanding. Okay, let's go back. We sparred with Monaco. Monaco brought everything. He didn't hold back. He brought his punches, connections. So what do we do? To Javon, we're going back.
Next day.
Okay. The next day we going back. Okay. Well,
we get a couple rounds in, and then Clarence Caden say, "We good."
They quit.
I rocked his ass right back.
Okay, right. And I remember he's sitting down, Monaco, because I know them both. I know Louis Monaco very well, and I know his coach, Clarence Thatch, back then. Okay, so Clarence Thatch, they had all the MMA at one time, all your top MMA guys in the early going. But anyhow, Louis is taking off his wraps and he's sitting down. Because he just couldn't finish the sparring session. He looked at me and he says, "Your man came ready today."
Yeah.
That's the big game changer. Okay? That's when we know he's ready. So we got to get him now. Now it's time for him to get in the ring and start that professional career. And that's what we did.
That's right.
Talk about the beginning of your career. I mean, because remember, you still had to finish up and go back to training camp.
I sure did. Well, I had to go to mini camp first.
Yeah.
So I think we got those 2 fights knocked out before I went. Mini camp starts in July. So I came out here, like I said, like 6 months prior to that and gave my own off season to that. So, we had our first fight with John Lewis up in Black Hawk. I couldn't sleep at night because now I'm going into a crowd, but it's not, I have no problem performing in front of a crowd, but now it's you and the other person. That's it.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So, a lot of people, it takes a lot of courage to walk. First of all, just feel what it feel like walking up them damn stairs and you going into a battle arena. Just you ain't no team, ain't no time out tying your shoes, ain't no hit.
Yeah.
You got to stand up. That's when your manhood is online, man. So, a lot of that, and that was my first pro debut. And I went out there like a wild man, remember?
I do.
I was trying to, all I would think was just knockout. Yeah, I got the TKO, but it was so ugly, man. It was so ugly. So things had to take in, it was experience I had to keep getting, but yeah.
And you did, and you made a pretty good career. So you ended up with 6-1.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much where everything got into a pause, and you started.
Well, when I left you, after those 2 fights, then I went up to CESG, Jimmy Burford now. I did 2, because I could only get like 2 fights every off season.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you got to remember, when I'm in football, I'll be like 300 or 290, then I'm coming down to like 270 or 260, something like that. With you, that was the best shape of my life I ever came in. I got down to 265 when I went back to minicamp to them. I mean, all them guys were looking at me like, damn, man, where I'm going? Jake, they call me J-Rock. They tested me. I would come in the locker room to stick on my locker for steroid tests and everything. I passed all my tests, but that's how dedicated and ripped I was. I was ripped up at 265, running fast. I was doing hella good in camp. And these people told me they didn't like it because it was almost like you was creating a platform for yourself. It's a conflict of interest. In the pros, you can't even go skiing or ride no motor. You ain't supposed to. You can get cut for that. But they was calling him and telling him we ain't doing no more boxing. He ain't gonna do no more boxing. He's done it. We gonna cut him. We got by with that for 4 years. With you, with 2.
Yep.
They didn't bother Jimmy and them or whatever. But I just had the attitude, forget I'm gonna do it. They didn't cut me, but I knew there was something always behind that when I did. But I ended up being up there in Rhode Island with them, and I started. This is where the undiscipline kick in. I don't know if I was just tired mentally, but something I started drinking. I started doing, promiscuous, being very promiscuous, things like that. Adulterous.
But see, you didn't have a trainer that cared for you.
Yeah.
No, but before we get into that, I just want to mention, when the calls were coming in about, hey, we need him over 300 pounds, expensive.
I was too skinny, too small.
Yeah, the calls came in. I said, listen, you don't understand what you have. Because I've trained a lot of other athletes. Clarence K from the Denver Broncos is one of them. Okay, one of the best. I said, you don't understand what you have. I said, you got to take what you have. You got the opportunity to have a big, strong defensive end that can stay in, that can move, that knows how to leverage his body, and you're not just using dead weight and stuff. And to be honest with you, you were just way ahead of your time for that kind of
time. Now you see the football players all want to
look at them now.
And they condone it. The team. It's just we was doing it on the real end though.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going there risking getting punched and getting banged up in football. So they looked at it as, which they supposed to.
Well, yeah.
You put your money in the lay low and he's somewhere off boxing. What if he get concussed or something? Especially now.
Yeah.
So they had we're very thankful, but when we look at the aspect of now, like I said, the iron hand coordination, we was ahead of our time where the boxing, if this is where, and I build a gym off of that, but and people will bring their sons and say, hey man, can you teach us football? I said, nah, I don't teach football. I don't really like football, but if you can learn what I'm teaching in boxing, it go hand in hand. Just like this orthodox stance here, when you play right defense in, you just drop this foot back and you come up with rips, uppercut. It's all the same kind of it's not just different terminology, but almost the same concept. So what we were doing, think about if we opened up that type of gym back then where professional players came in and just dedicated themselves like I did, but go play football. That's what the conflict was. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But we weren't even thinking that.
No.
We was going in to be professional boxing and do it that way. But now you look at it, the guys are doing what we were doing 20-something years ago.
Yeah.
You know, and the results was like, but again, Laylo, you got to have a person that was dedicated to.
Yeah.
Because I gave up 6 months. And
Absolutely.
You know, and I mean, the things you see me now, it's not so much a force where, you know, I may talk boxing, this and that, but my life, I'm comfortable. To be honest, I'm comfortable with myself. But it's a part of me that still, I'm always going to be a competitive. Now I have to learn to compete with myself with this weight, okay? And I'm living with him. He's seeing it every day. He see the weaknesses that, man, this boy, but I ain't going to give up. Because I'm going to shock myself before I can shock everybody else again.
He's going to shock himself. Now, John, now we'll get back to finals because I know this show is getting a little extended, but you're all enjoying what we're talking about. And just let you know, if you guys didn't catch the beginning of this, or you're missing some, or you have to leave, and you're not catching the end of it, this will be available on demand, so you can watch it at your convenience again. But what I wanted to talk about now, Javon, now today where he's at, okay? You can talk a little bit about, you know, you opened up a boxing gym in Oklahoma, and you spent years out there training, teaching the art of boxing, the sweet science of boxing. And people love you for that, because I see the comments. I see the people watching right now are a lot of your clients and your scholars back then.
Well, let me say it like
Go
this.
ahead.
When a lot of things happen when we part. I haven't seen you for over 20 years now. This is our reunion again for the past 3 months. And this COVID thing for me, I know I sent, you know, condolences to people that lost people through condolence. But for me, it was a chance for me to come back to America, see my kids. It's a lot of things that, you know, that from the past of going through my divorce, not seeing my kids for 10 and 12 years, things like that, and having to move around and get myself together. That gym I opened up in Oklahoma Stillwater was very therapeutic. Like I said, what some people may call this or call that, I've always had a different way of what I do my thing. They call it a gym. I mean, they whatever they call it, I call it therapy. Because what I was giving those people, and they know it, the ones that stuck in my head, people be there 67 years in my gym. I'm giving you me. My gym, my J-Rock boxer, they call me J-Rock. My son name is Rock, R-A-U-K, so I named it that. But it was more of a healing place, because at that time, I came down off a third failed marriage. I came down to Oklahoma from Coach Miller said, come on down and live with me and get yourself together. Well, getting myself together, when I knew what I needed now after what we was talking about in the beginning, what a college degree supposed to be, I went back to Oklahoma State and asked, I said, can I now finish up my courses, so because I know what to do with the paper, what I need. Yeah. See, this is how close I was getting ready to be coaching football, man. God, man, I'm telling you, he do some mysterious things to you. That Javon is done. I don't even want you teaching football to nobody, so they can, because everybody don't have the ability what I gave you to pull yourself out of what you went and dug that rut, seeking your own identity, man. Yeah. See, it's a mistress, man. It's a mystery behind a lot of this stuff. So, you know, I hit rock bottom, man. You know all this about my kids and things. So when I went to Oklahoma, I've always had this sense of pride about myself. I didn't hang my head down. So I went to Miller. I said, Kevin, can I get it back? Well, first of all, we got to get you in school. We got to do all this. Then I'm like, okay, now it's the pimping system. You got everything you got on me. Was that scholarship even real? Because they sent me over here to work and help build that damn student union for $8.25 an hour. Let me tell you something, big homie. This is just how I am. I was happy to even have a job, man. I worked at Sam's Club in Las Vegas for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm just saying, man, telling me how to stack Gatorade, man. You know, I said, I'll stack it, all right? I stacked that shit about 8 feet tall, man, on the edge house. You know, they told me on my lunch break, I said, the hell with you, I ain't coming back anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's not that I can't take orders. It's not that I'm too good. And it's not, I'm expecting that, but hey, brother, I need some help. And I'm not looking for him, but I need to get some stability back in my life, man. You see what I'm saying? That's why I know I have the key element for professional athletes that's dealing with what they're dealing with. Do I have the time to sit down and teach people the mental part of what I went through? You can teach this, man, because they've already taught themselves how to mind wrestle with themselves, to manipulate themselves to get up every day and do something that everybody can't do. That's what makes people quit. So I have that. It's there. You see what I'm saying? I ain't got to get no degree to be a psychologist. I know it. So, because I did it with myself, I twisted my mind up. So, you know, when I got to Oklahoma State, man, I did that, and they gave me that $400 damn check every week. I said, I don't know what to do with this. That's when the shit hit the fan, bro. So I had an old girl I used to know when I was there. You know, she was old then. I mean, I was like 40 and I was 20, so you know how that go. Yeah. She liked that. So, now she was 32. So when I got back down there, man, she was like 50 something. I literally stayed upstairs. She gave me a place to stay and everything. And I said, look here, I'll call the NFL. I'll get this little thing because they like to give you handouts, keep you complacent. Man, give me my damn money. My phone will give you $10,000 to help you do. So I said, look here, let me let you take this money and I'm gonna get on to this field. I quit that construction job they had me doing. That was the help they supposed to gave me because now they knew. I'm gonna tell you something, man. This is all a game. And to these young people that's listening, especially if you're a minority, it's a pimping game, man. Okay? It's called entertainment. Like I say, as minorities, we've never been lifted up or respected of anything other than our athletic or singing or entertainment attributes. But anytime it comes to being, you know, on level with something where we talk about mind stuff or thing, no, we want to hide that or give us the blueprint to that and let us go ahead and take it. We'll cut you off money to hide it. So that's what I looked at all that. That's why they didn't let me get that paper because, man, I had been to the top. And that defensive line coach at Oklahoma State, he's just a college coach. Now, who's qualified? I'm qualified for it. Okay, so I didn't even mind wrestling with them on later. I just went on. So I said, you know what, forget this job over here. And I started charging $50 a month. She's already paid off. Now that way I can save everything I got and let me focus and get back on. Okay, Bahati just was born. I went through another case of that. 2 years I've been with him and I'm out of his life gone. So I said, man, I'm done with that, man. I took my excursion I had left from the first divorce, everything I had. This is God was stripping me of that identity that I had. See, that's what we'll do that another time because there's so much, man, behind just where we just sitting today. There's so much behind where I had to get to this point. And I ain't been on no medication. I ain't been no psychiatrist. I ain't been in no doctors. You got to learn. You got to do it. That's just it. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, I did that $50 a month. Holy mitts. I ain't had no bags, but my composure, who I was, it wasn't even about. I'm a professional in my mind, and you know these people like, oh man, I remember you played. They woo with that, but I want you to do this here and do what I'm asking you to do and hit these misses so I can join in with that. Then I had the money to save for $900 a month for this little room thing, this little 900 square feet. It was $420 I paid. I called it a gym. I don't care what you look at it. I call it a gym. I had 2 bags, but these people, you know, and I know we're gonna have some Caucasian viewers, and I'm just gonna be straight up and say, look. What I've learned, they love to see the struggle because I've had them come, rich guys down there. They say, Javon, I love your passion and resilience. I wish I could have had that. If we understood how to stand up more for ourselves and have the self-respect and some dignity for ourselves, you'll find out these people respect that because they're learning that because they don't understand it. So my gym was based off of that. Boxing was just a platform to draw you in. Who I was as a football player was just to draw you in to hear my story. And then the story was not so much verbal, it was physical because I was helping changing people's lives. If you were down there, I would have tore you up. And you would be one of the ones have an impact, say, bro, this man, he gave me for what he was charging. What motivates him? What motivated me, man, I ain't want to be back where I was. I've been poor. I've been to the top. I've been broke back down even further than concrete can take it with caliche is. And I said, man, I ain't going back down there. I didn't have to get on drugs. I ain't have to get on dope. I came to this man's house drinking one day, talking about resurrecting career. But, you know, the alcohol had me. I brought my dog with me. I stayed, he said, go upstairs, there's your room, man. They always treated me like family. And I was drinking, coming in 10, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Here's a man open his house up, Marie, and they got the young Moran in there. I said, lay low, take the keys back, man.
Yeah.
Because that's the respect I had for him.
He sure did.
And I wouldn't fool with him if I knew that he does this like most boxing people. Any people you meet in boxing, man, is 99% cut dirty. This man don't care about no money. He loves his fighters if you work. But he loves boxing. I love boxing. That's how you succeed. Whatever success level he has is good for him. It ain't dictated by what somebody else thinking. Well, that's how I am. So you have to be around people like that. But you know, that's it, man. You know, I'm always open to anything you want to ask. But like I said, I know I get the rambling on. That's why we gotta get the book one day.
But that's good, and that's why now that you've come back and like you say, you came back to take care of some business. From Africa, and you got stuck here because of the COVID, and the
gym thing. So I'll finish up that there.
Yeah.
Well, that turned out to be good because again, passion, belief, the conception was there. Okay, the belief because I knew I could do it, and then I achieved it. So that was another mark in my life that I did, but it touched thousands and thousands of people's lives that came in. People will bring their family members in for a weekend and say, you got to come to this guy's place and do mental him and boxing, do stuff that he teach. So that was done. Now, again, I've already expended myself years, so my back was hurt. I've given too much, but could I kept going on with it? Could I have been a millionaire at this thing and go from that gym to the gym I had and then do it? Yeah, I could have. But I said, I'm done, okay? I had my 401k from NFL. I qualified for that. I said, now I'll close the gym up. I'll respectfully go on and now do what I want to do. So my thing, what I want to do, I said, I'm going to Africa. I didn't just lay around to it. So when people look, you going to Africa? What the hell you going in for? I mean, why not? Why would I want to stay here too? I can go where I want to go. So I left, you know, and I survived, and I move around, and I get to say, before I die, I said, man, I did what I wanted to do the way I wanted to do it.
That's right.
And I went over there because I wasn't seeing my kids anyway. That's just me. I went over there. So look here. So I come back for this concussion thing they have. You know, I ain't gonna go on all the details of that. But I come back for the concussion thing, and my lawyer say, you know, you need to come back and we talk to you and this and that. So I came down on March the 16th, and you know, I bought a home over there. Everything I was settled in, and over in Uganda, you know, in the Entebbe area. So I come back on the 16th, and 2 days later, they close everything up.
Yeah.
The airport's closed, so I've been stuck here. So I'm gonna tell you something, bro. If you ain't been through all the hard, that's why I said, if you ain't been through it, then you don't know where you're going. This man said there, see, I ain't stressed at all. What happened was COVID blessed me. Okay, because I was supposed to be here for 3 weeks. I'm here for all this time and reunited with my daughter. I got an older son that's incarcerated, unfortunately, and I got my younger son, Bahati. And I tell you one thing, it's been very therapeutic to me because I've never been a person that's been close to anything. I don't know how to love. I fully can admit it. Infatuation and love, two different things, but my kids, I love them, but I just don't, it's still a growing process. We're growing together. They love the hell out of me. I love them. And so I look at my life, man, as a blessing because most fathers that's not been around their kids, the kid have a sense of resentment. And at least I know they know the truth of what really happened. It wasn't the parent in the nation that actually won. So that's where I am today. You know, we've been working out. Because first I had to challenge the weight thing now, okay, and get the mind back. So it's like we start all over again before we even talk about picking fights. We have a thing that we did talk about that you know, if anybody's out there was interested, ex-NFL football players, you know what I mean, that wanted to come back in and showcase their talents for, you know, we have a pride thing that we walk around with as professional athletes, and there's still some unsettled business that needs to be taken care of. So we was talking about some things in that area. You know what I mean? Everybody knows that, look, I'm not going to go in and be no heavyweight champion of the world. I ain't going to go in and beat somebody, you know what I mean? I'm not going to doubt what I can beat, but you're just not on those levels of people that's been doing it all their life. And here I've been bouncing around dual sports like that, but just that competitive nature and things that we were talking about. First of all, get yourself in shape, compete with yourself. and then let's see, Javon, what we have available. And that's where we at now. And, you know, I'm in the process now. You know, Monday I'm actually leaving because I'm going to Houston because I can't afford nothing here in Denver. I'm going to Houston to find me a home. And then Camp is always back here again to, we both look each other eye in the eye and say, hey, brother, we're done. We did the best everything we can do. And I ain't stupid enough. He ain't stupid enough to be in there acting like we're gonna do a George Foreman scene or 50 years old walk around chasing what $200. But it's just a competitive nature, and I pass all my tests and things like that. Then you're gonna get beat.
And that's what I'm talking about. We got a plan. There's a method to all this madness. First is his weight. He's come down a lot in weight. He's over 400 pounds when he came back.
Been doing shakes for 4 days in water. Pissed his head. I can't get no chicken.
Got him in the gym. The beautiful thing is this COVID came in, shut all the gyms. So for my other professional fighters, got to keep them busy. So I converted my 2-car garage into a gym.
Right.
Okay, now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 heavy bags, a double M bag, the speed bag. We got everything that's needed.
Everything you need.
And we're working hard. My professional fighters are training. They're training for fights. Our director here that does the video here, Raul Hatar, has been with me for a long time. He's got his gym in Longmont, Colorado, North. So we know the business. So, you know, I told Javon, let's get in here. Before we even talk about ring action, getting back into the ring, we're going to talk about you, okay? You're not going to get in the ring at 400 pounds, okay?
No.
We don't care. People talk to you and say, well, your experience can carry you.
Well, you got guys that can do it.
Yeah.
But I have enough dignity about myself that when it's time to peel off, I always look at things. You are a franchise and you're marketable.
Yeah.
And okay, so
yeah. So,
and you have a story to go with that. And still, I'm living a story with you right now.
Yeah.
This is all going to the book one day.
Exactly.
How you came back for it. Yeah, you've been there. It did, but you. I mean, it's so many things, man, that people want. Like I told my son-in-law last night. He ain't my son-in-law, but we had some words last night down the house. Anyway, last night. But I told him, I said, look here, man. Anything you believe in, you want to do, you got to go step one out there and do it. A lot of time people worry about what other people think. You got to be an individual. You see what I'm saying? You got to have a passion, and you got to go pursue that passion. You see what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right. So anyway, we're going to talk about. We're going to have him back here because we want you to follow his career. He's not an old man. He still has a lot into him. But now we've completed the first phase of wherever he's going to go. Okay, whether it's back in the ring or what it is, we completed that first phase. So he's dropped at least a good 50 pounds since he's back here, okay? So what I'm saying, once we get at that 300 mark, okay, or a little below, then we can sit down and talk about
what's the next move.
What's the next move?
Yeah.
So you all just go ahead and stay with us and stay on, follow Javon and his career. I'm excited. Just that he's still who he is, mentally, physically. He does what he's going to do. He's going to say, and he takes it. I mean, it is hard for me to come back to the family and we come back with smothered burritos.
Oh, dude, I don't trip on that.
I know you don't. That's what I'm saying.
I don't trip. But I think they feel more bad because. But no. When I want to get busy with them, I go get busy. But like I said, this is a good part, and you getting to witness this, Laylo. What makes a person who they are, where he's seeing the back and forth balance.
But that's just me. That's just me. Just when I was training Donald Camarena, 4-time WBC champion, okay, we go out. I knew the struggles. I boxed in my youth, 10 years of boxing, and he couldn't eat because he was struggling. So as a trainer, and we're out of town and we're in training camp, I wouldn't eat, okay, because that's just me, okay. But anyway. So we don't drag this on. I know we've been on this extended, but we want you to follow him. We're going to have Javon back time and time. We're going to have him back with other guests. So basically, just go ahead and we'll cut the show off there, and we'll leave it at that, and we'll surprise the public because we're not going to surprise ourselves. We know what we're doing. Okay, so follow us. Again, this video will be. This show will be available on demand as soon as we get everything, Raul Yuhatara, our director of video and show, here on Agi TV, he's got his work, because he's got to break this down into a couple of segments and a couple of part 1, part 2, and part 3, and but he's the man. He's the man. So him and his crew, his kids, I couldn't have better partners in this whole deal. So, Javon.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay in touch. I know you've got an appointment coming up.
Yeah.
And we're going to stay in touch.
We're gonna stay
You're living downstairs, okay?
Yeah, we stay in touch, man.
So, but be safe on your trip to Houston, and we'll see you next week. And,
that's right.
And we continue to venture.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to say? Shout out to anybody? Do it now.
I'll see y'all when we come back. Yeah, we'll be back, man. I like this.
All right, guys. Stay tuned.
I like motivating people.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Sunday for another segment of Throwdown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.